Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Nelly and today you join me with a video where I'll talk to you about affordable watches for young people that don't really know where to look for their first watch, or whether you want to expand your collection. This is the right place to look for. So most of the watches that I'm talking about here are very easy to find, most even on Amazon, so that won't be a problem. And then as well, something else really important for me is that you look at the brands rather than all the specific models. So I will give you specific models from the brands that I'll talk about, but feel free to browse through the other models that these brands have to offer, because they are all good brands. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and start the video. So the first brand today is Seiko, as it is a brand I really trust. I myself own a Seiko, which I'll show you later. And all in all, it's one of the best brands to get into the watch hobby, because they offer very good watches for the price, especially their entry-level watches. So the first watch up is a Seiko automatic sports watch, which is a line that offers, it basically looks like a Seiko SKX, but it isn't. I think it's the same case, but it doesn't have the screw down crown, so it's only water resistant up to 100 meters, but that's still fine. What you get with this watch is an automatic movement, a day-date function, which is very handy. I think that's a really cool thing for around 200 euros. Again, you can find this on Amazon. It comes in many different color combinations. It is a stainless steel watch, so basically a sports watch for every day. The only thing with this watch is that it's on the larger side of things, so it is a 43 millimeter size. If you have a smaller wrist, I wouldn't go for this, but if you have a normally sized wrist or even a bigger wrist, this is definitely a good watch for you. Then the next Seiko is a Seiko 5 Sports automatic watch. So again, we have an automatic watch with an open case back and a day-date function. So this is a really cool watch because it's more on the elegant side of things, but yet sporty. The fact that it doesn't have a bezel, or rather a smooth bezel without numerals, makes the watch look quite elegant with its complete stainless steel look, the stainless steel bracelet and the crown positioned at the 4 o'clock. So I think this is a really good looking watch, and the size is good as well with 40 millimeters. I think it's a good size for pretty much anyone. The lugs aren't too big, so it fits nicely around your wrist. I think the dial comes with different colors, but gray seems to be the most popular one. So again, a really good looking watch for the price and very good for daily use, and also a water resistance of 100 meters. So it's all you need for daily use basically. And then I urge you to look at the Seiko 5 lineup. I won't give you a specific model with that one because there are hundreds of Seiko 5s. It's so difficult to point one out because they are all good. What you get with Seiko 5s is basically a mix of the two Seikos that I just mentioned. You get a day-date function, you get an open case back, which is really cool if you like automatic movements. The fact that you can just turn the watch around and see how the movement is working to make to display the time. I think that's a really cool thing, especially if you're getting into watches. And what you get with the Seiko 5s as well, it's just a practical watch, and it's a little bit smaller. So most Seiko 5s are between 36 and 38 millimeters, which is a good size, to be honest. It's a good size for everyone. And that's definitely a watch, in my opinion, you can't go wrong with. If you don't like smaller watches, I wouldn't go for the Seiko 5. But if you don't mind, it is a watch that really looks good. And I have my Seiko 5 with me here today as well, and I think it's just a stunning looking watch. And there's actually a video on this watch on our channel already, so definitely go and check that out. But this is a really cool looking piece. So that's it for Seiko. Let's go to the next brand, which is Orient. So Orient is a good brand if you are more into classy looking watches, especially the Bambino. So the Bambino line, I think there are 4 different issues of the Bambino. It's a very elegant vintage type looking piece, so if you're more into that type of watch, then the Bambino is the one for you. Though with 41 millimeters, it is a little bit big for a vintage looking piece, but design wise it's so good looking, honestly. What you get with the Bambino is a vintage inspired watch with a date function, with a leather strap, and it is just a classy looking watch which you still can wear on a daily basis, or if you're just looking for a watch that you like to wear if you dress up a little, then the Bambino is a really good watch for that. But with Orient, then we also have something sportier if you like dive watches. If you are, for instance, a fan of the Rolex Mariner, Orient definitely has their own interpretation of a dive watch with its own character, and it is the Kamasu Divers, which is again a good daily watch. It is a dive watch, it's rugged. You have a day-date function just like the Seiko dive type watch. You get an automatic movement, and this time you even get a 200-meter water resistance, which I consider very, very good for this price point. The bracelet looks good to me as well. You get a rotating bezel with minute indices, and it comes in different dial colors as well, so I think that it's something for everyone. And I think it's a 41 millimeter size or 42 millimeter size, so it is the upper limit that I consider still mid-size. So no matter how big or small your wrist is, this should be a good size for you still. And yeah, it's a very good looking watch for daily use. And then let's move on to Timex. Timex is a brand that has been around for many years, and we'll start off with a dressier piece again for those who like it simple. It is the Timex Marlin, which has been around since 1964 or even earlier. So again, you get an automatic watch that looks simple, dressy, classy, you name it. You can change the strap on it and it looks good whatever strap you put on. You get even an open case back, once again, like with Seiko. I think the open case back is a really cool option that you get with the Marlin. And all in all, a nice watch with 40 millimeters, good size as well for any wrist, and even a date function. So you can't really go wrong with this watch. And then something a little bit more different is the Timex 3 hand, or the Timex 3 GMT, which is a dive type watch. I actually don't know the water resistance on this piece, but I think it's not more than 100 meters water resistance. So this is a bit of a larger watch than, again, with 43 millimeters, but if you have a normally sized wrist or even a little bit of a bigger wrist, then this is a really cool watch. It isn't an automatic though, but still, if you don't mind whether your watch is automatic or quartz, then why not go for it? You have you can read 3 different time zones on this watch. So you have a rotating bezel with 24 hours, and you can adjust the 24-hour hand to show 2 different time zones, additional to your main time zone, obviously. So a really cool watch with a bit of a complication, you could say. And yeah, again, a piece you can't go wrong with if you have a bit of a larger wrist. Then if you're into field watches, or if you're a fan of the army, then Timex also makes really nice field watches. For instance, the Timex Expedition, which you can find for as little as 40 euros. Yes, I found one for 40 euros on Amazon, and it's again powered by quartz. But I think it's a really cool looking watch, especially for the price. And like I said already, these are all watches that you really can't go wrong with. I mean, these are good daily watches, no matter what you go for. But now a brand that you probably don't think of as much, and that's Swatch. So Swatch, again, a brand I myself have, and I'll show you that immediately. That's a limited edition, actually. I haven't shown you this yet. It's a limited edition James Bond Swatch. Really cool watch. Don't wear it that often, actually, but it's just cool to have in the collection. So as you can see, Swatch is more of a fun brand. They have a really fun interpretation of design in that sense. Most of their watches are plastic, which doesn't mean that it is cheap, but they are affordable watches, and they make, if you're more of an alternative person or you want to get out of the norm, then definitely have a look at Swatch. And I don't think there's anything in the Swatch lineup that costs more than 250 euros anyways. So they make chronographs, they make limited editions, they make simple two-hand watches like mine, and they're just simple, fun watches. So go and have a look at Swatch, definitely. And then the last brand I'll talk to you about today is Casio. So Casio, again, a brand you just can't go wrong with. I mean, even Bill Gates wears a Casio. So Casio, definitely look at the F91W. Everyone knows that. I made a video about that watch as well. But if you're a person that likes that likes the outdoors, that likes adventures, then get a G-Shock. G-Shock offers an amazing lineup. There are hundreds of different G-Shock models. They are absolute beta watches, and what you get for the money is a very shock resistant watch, as the name suggests. They are all 200 meter water resistant, and they are very functional watches. So depending on what G-Shock you get, you have many different functions. And I myself have a G-Shock as well, so let me show you that. This is more of an aviation inspired G-Shock. It's a big watch, so definitely consider the size when buying a G-Shock. Most of them are around 43 millimeters, which is quite big. So definitely consider size. And then the Casio F91W, obviously an iconic watch which comes in many different colors. But the point of this video, as I said already, is for you to get inspired definitely by the models that I spoke about, but more importantly, go and have a look at the brands in and of themselves, because these brands make amazing watches. No matter what model you go for, you can't really go wrong with these brands. They are brands that have been around for quite a while now. They are respected and appreciated by watch collectors, and they offer watches at an acceptable entry level. So most of the watches were between 150 and 250 euros, which I think is something that everyone can afford if you save up for it, or just immediately it's an acceptable price for a watch, especially if it's something, I mean, consider a watch is something that you wear daily. Most people wear a watch on a daily basis, and they are watches that definitely withstand the test of time. So it's definitely worth the investment if watches are your passion. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and leave a comment on this video. Also subscribe to the channel if you like to see more of this type of content. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Ciao.